about, the reason the attack lost. And, it kind of went through my head, that really emotional game last night, and then having to play the night after against a team you haven't played where there's not going to be that much juice naturally, especially with two leaders out of the lineup. And, you look at the scoreboard there behind us, Flint gets 29 shots on net with the goaltender in. 6 of them get by Corbin Botteri, but I didn't think Owen Sound played that bad for most of the game. In fact, I thought Flint was just very opportunistic on their chances, whether that was the power play goal they scored, the one off the rush in the first period of the third period, or Piercy's ability to take that quick pass and get it into the empty net. I thought that Flint, we talked about, we know what the I know exactly what the Midwest is. I don't really know what some of the Western Conference teams are yet. Flint, I thought, was really impressive tonight.
Yeah, they showed you that they compete and they work hard, and they certainly gave their coaching staff the kind of effort that they would have wanted to see there, and certainly backed up their goaltender. I think when you give up 4 goals, it never looks like a great stellar performance, but Ian Micheloni made a lot of big-time saves, a lot of saves that came at the right moment, and then, like you said, they certainly cashed in the right opportunity. So we don't have to waste much time. These two teams will lock horns tomorrow afternoon. What are you expecting for the Sunday afternoon matchup? Owen Sound completing the 3-3. The Firebirds, it's also their 3rd game of the week, 3 games in 4 days. Everybody went at it tonight, but from an attack point of view, where do they have to really key on if they want to have success tomorrow?
Yeah, I think the attack are going to be in a similar situation tomorrow night. Obviously, where it's expected that Nick Chenard is going to get the start for Owen Sound, so they're going to upgrade a little bit in that position, obviously going to the starter, but it's going to come back to the defense again. And I think any game or any team in the league that you take the top 2 defensemen out of the league, and that's probably where the focus is going to be on. And I look at 2 guys tonight, Sam Sedley, this is really his first game in the Ontario Hockey League being what I would call the number 1 defenseman on the team, and the guy who's supposed to provide some offense from a defensive end. We saw him jumping into the rush a lot more than we have earlier in the season, so I was impressed by that. I thought Cal Ewens was really good tonight, trying to provide a little bit of offense and get into the rush. But that's going to be the focal point, is how does the defense handle it, and how many grade A scoring chances do they give Flint? Because if they give them as many tomorrow as they had tonight, as many shots from the slot, they might see them put up 5 or 6 goals again tomorrow afternoon.
Well, one thing we saw was contributions throughout the lineups on both sides, and that'll make both coaching staffs happy, and they'll probably look for more of that tomorrow afternoon. They'll need that for whichever team can come out on top in the matinee. So that's going to do it from up here. We're going to send things down to Zach Scribner. He's got your 3 stars and the final words on tonight's matchup. For John Morris, I'm Mark McKelvey. Here's Zach Scribner to take us home.
Thank you very much, Mark and John. And of course, the Flint Firebirds defeat the Owen Sound attack 7-4, extending Owen Sound's losing streak to 3 games. The 2 teams will meet again tomorrow at the Bayshore here at 2 o'clock. Join us on Rogers TV. On behalf of Mark, John, and myself, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you guys tomorrow at 2 p.m.
Due to the length of the preceding program, we now join the regularly scheduled program already in progress.
I think it's a civic number, and I think the kilometers to the next side road, is it?
Yeah, so they're markers, they're 911 signs.
Okay.
So they are to help people if in case of an emergency. I do know of someone that has made the comment before where they just their health isn't that great, and so it provided them a bit more assurances knowing that they knew the next little interval that they would have a sign that would give them the location of where they are in the event of or in case there is an emergency. So yeah, that's really helpful just for safety purposes.
Yeah.
We're working on digitizing the entire trail. So we purchased through the Healthy Communities Grant, which is a separate grant that we received this past spring, which Natalie's done a lot of work with helping. So part of the digitization project was buying a GoPro, and so we've captured 360 imagery along the entire rail trail.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah, so it's a really high caliber imagery, and so that's something that we just didn't have before, and so we're hoping to be able to display that to the public and communicate and share the various iconic spots along the trail through image, because as of right now, I think it is a bit of a untapped resource and it's a bit unknown. So, and through that project, we also captured a lot of the inventory of all the signs along the rail trail, and we're hoping to revitalize that. And so right now we have signs that are placed in various locations. They're not entirely coordinated. They're also very old. So through this project, we're looking to, we captured all the inventory, so we know where all the signs are located, and then we'll be revitalizing, and so looking at installing new posts and then revitalizing the signage and looking at incorporating accessibility measures through that as well. So just to create a bit more of a consistent approach with our signage, such that people know what to expect when they're coming and what they can also look for from a tourism perspective. And
and it lets you know where you are. You know, when you're on the Bruce Trail, you don't know really where you are. You see your markers and you've got quite a distance to go. What I like about this trail system is that if you paired up, so if you and another couple decided you wanted to do this trail, you would drop one car off, approximately one concession or two concessions, and then bring the other car, and then you could have a nice leisurely walk. As I said, the hills, you have to remember a train was on this, so they're nice, long, sloping, you're not out of breath. It's a really easy trail system to do, and it's almost wheelchair friendly because of the stone dust that Grey County has done. So where's the next spot where we're gonna go? Because I'm really excited to go to some new places that people don't know about. So where's our next stop gonna be?
it's going to be the Holland Center County Forest.
Sure.
So Natalie, if you want to share some details of kind of...
Sure. So we're going to take Highway 10 to Holland Center and we'll follow you guys.
Yep.
Sounds like a plan? Great.
Yep.
Okay. We'll head there next.
Great.
We have followed Natalie and Stephanie here. We took Robson Road to the east back line, and we are now here at, you have to help me out, the
Holland Center County Forest.
Holland Center County Forest. Behind us here is just absolutely gorgeous. How large is this property?
So this property, there's a trail that goes through it. It's approximately 3 kilometers.
Okay.
And it does loop up. So it goes around to the back of the property and loops up to the trail that we came in on.
Oh, so loops are always a great thing because no one gets lost. That's the way I like to hike. Now, here we've got this large pond behind us with a little bit of flooding on the trail. Is this normal for this property?
Yeah, so unfortunately the property does flood a little bit in the fall and in the spring, but the best time to come out and visit it is during the summer, midsummer. You get a great view of this wetland behind us, lots of songbirds in the spring,
Nice.
and lots of wildlife to see. So it's a great property to come out and do some bird watching and check out some wildlife.
And there's been tons of deer here. Huge hoof prints in the snow where they've been digging up the snow trying to find either dirt or some grass to nibble on. So lots of wildlife here. How can people find this property on the website? This is listed on Grey County's website, Stephanie?
Yeah, so if you go to grey.ca, we do have under the planning department, we have forestry and trails, and we have GIS mapping. So it is listed. It is something that we're looking to get better at in creating public information for trails, as well as our visit grey.ca, which is our tourism website, has some of these properties captured. But again, looking to try and make sure that it's easily accessible. And so we are looking at creating a comprehensive trail map for everyone, such that they can look at one spot and see the various locations and what to expect before going to a property, what's permitted.
And you've got this well signed. Very impressed that there was a sign right at the road and plenty of parking. And if you have a QR code reader on your cell phone, you can actually read the QR code, which automatically pulls up the trails work webpage that I believe this was on when we pulled up the phone. But what other uses can be done on this property? I know sometimes people allow horseback riding or ATVs. Is it a multi-recreational use property?
Yeah, so primarily hiking in the summer and in the spring. We do allow snowshoeing and skiing in the winter as well. So those are kind of the main uses that this property is used for.
But, so cross-country skiing, it's not a trail set for cross-country skiing. It's just you can cross-country ski. It's at your own trail.
Yeah, exactly. It's not groomed by
not
at this point, no.
Okay. So where's the next spot we're going to go?
We're going to head over to Lily Oak, which is, I think, 1 or 2 concessions over from where we are right now, and it's another county forest. And so we'll show you some of the work that we've been doing to revitalize that property over this past summer and spring.
Wonderful. Okay, to Lily Oak we go.
My Uncle Cheney was one of over 150,000 Indigenous children that were taken to residential schools between the 1800s and 1996. My uncle ran away from school wanting to get home to his mom and dad, and sadly he didn't make it and died of exposure. When Gord Downey found out about my late Uncle Cheney's story, he wrote Secret Path, a series of poems that became an album, then a graphic novel, a documentary, and a concert. Gord met my family, and together we formed the Gord Downey and Cheney Winjack Fund. Together we are sharing Secret Path and other reconciliation resources with legacy schools, setting up legacy spaces across Canada, and hosting events like Secret Path Week to inspire all Canadians to engage in reconciliation. Before he left us, Gord asked us all to do something.
You're gonna figure it out.
Will you join us? Together we can make Canada a better place.
What kind of show do you want to see on Rogers TV? What interests you? Log on to rogerstv.com, fill out a show proposal, and tell us about your segment idea. We want to know what you want to see. Rogers TV, only on Rogers.
Are you the type who would keep going or stop? It's not easy to stop when you have an addiction. Legalizing cannabis won't stop addiction. It trivializes its consumption. Let's be vigilant. If you need help, visit portage.ca.
So this is Lily Oak, and we've got a sign here at the beginning, at the entrance of the property, and we're going to head up to the next spot.
Nice. I like this because it shows us the 4 trail system, and I can pull out my camera, take a picture of this, and in I go. I know where I'm going to be because I've got the map on my camera. Yeah, great idea. So Lily Oak is how large in size here?
So the trails, we've got about 10 kilometers of trails and 4 different loops. We've got a nice big parking area right where we came in. And yeah, each trail is about, it's no longer than 3 kilometers.
3 kilometers, that's a nice, and it's got multiple loops, so you're always coming back out to an intersection, which is really nice. What interesting features are here? I noticed one coming in, which was the stone foundation.
Yeah, so we've got a couple stone foundations. That was one of them, and we've got another one over to our right here. It's a little bit larger, and then we've got a spring towards the back of the property, and it's a very nice clear spring, and the trail takes you right up beside it. So
very nice, very nice. I should have asked you this before, Stephanie, but how many acres does Grey County own?
Yeah, so Grey County owns, in terms of county forest acreage, it's around 8,500 acres in total, which is really significant, a large area. And that spans around 45 properties in total, which are all publicly available for access.
Right. Now, one thing I noticed when we were coming in, there's a little sign that says FCS. What does that mean?
So yeah, FSC certified.
Right.
Yeah, it's just certain standards that are required to be upheld, and then through that, it's a forestry organization such that when you do sell products that are harvested on your property, they can be they're recognized through the FSC certification program, and so that can be then marketed as such when you're selling it to larger markets. But it holds the landowners, when they go through the certification property, to a higher standard for sustainability and forestry management purposes, such that the health of the forest is being maintained. And yeah, we're doing things in a very careful manner when we do go about harvesting.
Right, right. And that's a whole other show, because forest management is very important, but it needs to be done correctly. Yes. So let's check out some more area here at Lily Oak. I love history, and looking at this foundation is a great conversation piece, right? Did you do any research to see what was here prior to Grey County owning it?
Yeah, we did look into it a little bit. Someone did own this property and did live here, but we're not sure which is the house and which was maybe the barn. But yeah, it's a fascinating piece of history for sure.
It is, and definitely I love the history piece you've got up at the bench too, which kind of explains the area and when the settlement happened. So Grey County did a great job here. Yeah, good job.
So part of our trail revitalization project is we added in these blazes to indicate which trail you're on and to help you know where you're going.
Nice. I like seeing where I'm going. Yes, good job. So we've just left Flesherton and traveled down County Road 4, and I know I'm out of my element here. We parked in
Ceylon.
Ceylon, okay. And we've walked maybe 5 minutes down the CP Trail here, and behind us is a gorgeous lake, and this lake is called?
Wilcox Lake.
Wilcox Lake, absolutely stunning. This section of the CP Trail is what you had talked about earlier at the beginning of the interview. This is going to have some work done on it coming up?
Yeah, exactly. So this is part of the 35 kilometers that will be resurfaced through stone dusting and starting 2022. So yeah, the intent is just to make it a bit more accessible for all user types. And yeah, we're really looking forward to just further emphasizing and showcasing some of these amazing amenities that are adjacent to and proximity to the rail trail. Yeah, in this case specifically, just thinking about how a lot of people that live in the area or have moved up to the area may not realize there's a lot of inland lakes, and
yes,
this being one of them. And yeah, just recognizing that this is a trail you could walk on, cycle, and you're right beside water. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, I bring my bike out here all the time and take some rides, and I love it. Enjoy the scenery. It's great.
So what type of animals do you think you would see along this trail system?
Yeah, that's a good question. I haven't spent a lot of time myself, but just since being here today, we've witnessed a lot of birds just on the lake. We did pass by a beaver, and yeah, so thinking of maybe the naturalists that have interest in bird watching, or if you're into photography, it's likely a really good spot to check out just, yeah, any time of day. And if you go a bit further that way, so it'd be to the south along the trail, it's still connected to Wilcox Lake. It just loops around, and there's a nice bench and seating area that you could bring like a picnic for a day, or if you're just needing to rest, and yeah, you'd be able to look out onto the lake. So it's, yeah, definitely a spot for people that are connected and in tune with nature and want to see a bit more of that in a quiet space.
Yeah. And again, it is probably wheelchair accessible, so you don't have to worry about any tripping features as what you would be walking, say, the Bruce Trail with roots sticking out of the ground. So it's an easy trail to do. You can't get lost. Bring a picnic and maybe your cell phone and your camera to take a few pictures. Thank you very much for bringing us here. The next stop, Camp Oliver.
So we've made it to Camp Oliver, and the first thing you'll notice are these giant red pines here that line the trail.
Nice, very nice. Now, what other unique features are here at Camp Oliver?
So we've got a lake that you can enter just off of the trail. Yeah, there's a little boardwalk that you can walk up to and do some fishing off of. There's also a lookout point just a further up the trail where you can sit on the bench that's there and kind of observe the lake from above.
Now, you mentioned fishing. Now, we haven't talked about fishing at all at any of the other properties. What type of fish is in Black Lake?
Yeah, so they've got some bass in there. That's the most common type of fish.
Right. Now, is hunting allowed here as well on this property?
Just fishing.
Just fishing, yes. Okay. Oh, it's a gorgeous piece of property. But yeah, I kind of got a little lost getting here. So the proper directions to get here would be?
Yeah, so we just drove down Grey Road 4 toward Durham, and then we turned onto Camp Oliver Road, and it's just a left off of Camp Oliver Road.
Camp Oliver Road. So a gorgeous piece of property. Gorgeous piece of property. So approximately how many kilometers then to Black Lake?
Yeah, so it's about a 2-kilometer hike to Black Lake. It's a fairly moderate hike. There's some rolling hill spots.
Okay.
So just keep that in mind when you're planning your hike. And this is also one of the properties that we digitized on an app called Trail Forks. So that shows the trails on the app in addition to all of the checkpoints like benches, signs, various things like that.
Nice, nice. So just to summarize where we've been today for our viewers, we started off at Superior Street and Concession 11. I'm very familiar with that area. And then our next stop was...
We went to Holland Center, the county forest.
Right.
And then we went over a couple concessions to Lily Oak, county forest. And then we went down along the rail trail again, reconnected and adjacent to Wilcox Lake. And then we made our last stop at Camp Oliver.
At Camp Oliver. So yeah, we're just east of, I got to stop and think, of Durham. Yes, I got a little turned around. But yeah, it's been a great day. Now, how can people learn about these properties so that they can explore them like we did today?
Yeah, so what Natalie was mentioning, through the digitization project, we've been uploading all of this information on a platform called Trail Forks, and so that's available to anyone in the public. It's online, trailforks.com, and so you'll find all the county forest properties as well as the associated maps and points of interest on that platform, as well as our Visit Gray website. Tourism has a lot of information. And if you have any general inquiries about the use of our properties, it would be connecting with our forestry department. So forests@gray.ca.
Right. And one of the important things to do is know your area. We briefly talked about, when we were off camera, about hunting season. And people should be aware of their surroundings and when hunting season is, and be wearing that orange when it is hunting. Anytime, usually from September through to December, they should be wearing orange, and beware of your surroundings. So we want people to be safe when they're out hiking as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so thank you very much for the day. I have a lot more properties to explore now, thanks to you guys, and we will see you again next time on Wandering Grey Bruce.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
Everybody knows not to drink and drive, but some people still think it's okay to take drugs and drive. Police have the authority, the ability,